Hello, Rama Pupoda. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with Dr. Hafiz Said. Dr. Said's wife was overwhelmed by a strong desire to invite Bhagavan home and feed him to her heart's content. At that time, the couple was staying in a rented accommodation next to the ashram. When she told her husband about her longing, Dr. Syed, who was well aware of the ashram rules and Bhagwan's way of life, said, "No, he cannot come out of the ashram and visit us." He had never had food outside the ashram. However, his wife remained adamant. Finally, Dr. Syed conveyed the message to Bhagavan when he was going up the hill. Bhagavan heard him out, smiled, and continued walking. But look at what happens when devotees persevere. When it is the brain that perseveres, it is arrogance. When it is the heart that perseveres, then it is something totally different. It is devotion. Bhagavan would go up the hill every day. One day she stood on the way with her husband and communicated through him, "Bhagavan, you must come to our house and have food." Bhagavan smiled once again and kept walking. That night, Bhagavan appeared in her dream and told her, "Why are you so obstinate? You know I cannot come. I can dine only in the dining hall with all the others. People come from long distances. I cannot disappoint them. Are you going to keep asking me to come?" But then, see how compassionate Bhagavan is. The next thing he said was, "If you feed 3 sadhus, it is like feeding me." Bhagavan was not vague about who these sadhus were either. In her dream, she also saw 3 people who were living in the ashram at the time. They were Dr. Melkote, Sadhu Prabhu Ananda, and Krishna Bhikshu. Dr. Melkote was a married man. Prabhu Ananda was a sannyasi, and Krishna Bhikshu was a brahmachari. Mrs. Syed fed them to her heart's content. The fact that she looked on them as Bhagavan was proved by the fact that she offered them bitter leaves after the feast. A Muslim lady is allowed to offer bitter leaves only to the husband and not to any other man, not even to her father or her brothers. However, Islam allows a man to offer it to a fakir or a saint. She handed each one of them bitter leaves, and they understood to what status she had elevated them. The 3 of them went back to Bhagavan and narrated the incident in detail. Bhagavan listened with appreciation. He never expressed his appreciation in words. His devotees understood it through his gestures and look. I once asked Dr. Syed what it was that attracted him so strongly towards Bhagavan. He replied, "Bhagavan's sense of humanity was as great as his sense of pure spirituality." Dr. Syed was convinced that the more spiritual a person was, the more human he became. He also said the main teaching of Bhagavan, on which he laid much emphasis, was surrender to God or the Guru, because Bhagavan himself had surrendered to the divine and reaped its benefits. However, the dominant feature of Bhagavan's philosophy was the unity of life and the oneness of the divine essence. I have repeatedly heard Bhagavan say that there is the one who governs the world and that it is his task to look after the world. Let's continue in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Pupoda.